Hello everyone, I welcome you to this channel today, and today we're going to talk about a very serious topic, a very sensitive issue. A disclaimer, today we're going to talk about something that's related to religion and spirituality, something like that, but it will be also be having something to do with the Africans, and particularly the struggle for independence, and even where we are as Africans today. So as we continue this video, I have a request that those people who are going to view this video, kindly, I want you to be having that open-mindedness. I don't want you to look like those people who are actually colonized by religious views, those people who love their religion and they can't buy an idea that talks anything different from their religion. This behavior is very dominant in Africans because we Africans, when the whites came with their religion, we fully received that religion, we embraced it to an extent that we even forgot to question some aspects of this religion. Now, having said that one, I want to inform you that in this video, I'm actually going to have two broad questions which are going to build the discussion in this video. And these two questions, they will build on each other. I gave a disclaimer, I said that this video is going to talk about something that's having a relationship between Western religion and African politics. And when I talk about Western religion, I'll be basically looking at the dominant denominations of the world that have been there for a very long period, particularly the Catholic Church. And when I talk about the African politics, I'll be measuring about the periods of pre and colonial period. Now, without wasting a lot of time, I want to introduce my questions. My first question will be about saints. Actually, the two questions will be about saints. And you understand that for the Western religions, particularly the Catholic Church, they have a doctrine whereby they announce some members of the church who have long gone before us. They announce them through a process they call canonization. They announce them to be saints. There are some procedures they follow and so that they come to a conclusion that someone can be called a saint. All those we are going to look at them. But here the question is, did the Catholic Church announce the wrong people and call them saints? Is there something we have been deceived through ages to blindly believe in? Now, that's the first question. The second question will be on whether we should, instead of those who were canonized by the Catholic Church, should we instead reverse and now announce and declare the Africans, particularly those freedom fighters who fought for the freedom of those who were oppressed, to be saints? This is a question that many will say that does not have a moral basis, or they will just try to dispute it by saying that, religion is religion in politics, and particularly things to do with African freedom is something different from religion. I want to tell you that there's nothing different, because I want to remind you, during the period of slave trade, in fact, the first ship that ferried the slaves from Africa to America, do you know what it was called? It was called Jesus the Shepherd ship. Imagine. And the Africans in diaspora were supposed to, in fact, I think it's one of the letters of Paul who says, "You slaves, obey your masters, just as you obey God." So they were supposed to obey their masters, the slaves. And who are these slaves? The Africans. So don't say that these two topics are not related. Now, having introduced the two questions, allow me to start from the first question. And when talk about canonizing, I've already told you that there is a manner in which the church carries out this canonization of the saints. And there are procedures they follow. But before that, allow me to take you back to some period in history. There's a period I want us to look at, and that is a period in the Middle Ages. No, not Middle Ages, but the medieval ages, when we had two declarations of the popes who always stand out in history, who are very controversial. And here we are going to look at a story about the papal bulls. A papal bull is when a pope issues a decree which is taken as a law. Now, there are two people who stand out, two popes in particular. One is called Pope Nicholas V, and another one was called Pope Alexander VI. These two popes issued very controversial papal bulls. In these papal bulls, it's where our problems as the Africans start. I know that these two papal bulls, one of the papal bull, that's of Alexander VI, which was given there 1493. In this bull, papal bull, he gave those priests who were to go into these areas, he gave them orders and powers to go everywhere in the world and do what he called discover. It was a mission of discovering. What were they discovering? They were discovering those people who were not under Christian dominions. So he told them that whenever they go and they find people who are not Christians, what were they supposed to do? They go there, they conquer them. And not only conquering them, they conquer them and then they subject the natives of that place to slavery. Imagine a pope, a Catholic pope, instructing his soldiers to go and discover people. And when they discover those people, they put them under slavery. You ask yourself, were these people people of a lesser God? That one, you ask yourself. Now, after these people came and they discovered many parts, and we the Africans were part of the groups that were discovered. Then we were discovered, we were put under slavery. Now, several years later, the Catholic Church says that we had some people who we sent out. They went to discover people, they fought a good fight. And because they fought a good fight, They have to be canonized and to become saints because they fought for the church. Now my question is, were these people rightfully canonized? Not only that, we continue. Then you remember, everyone here remembers that when colonialism happened, and before even colonialism happened, there are some events that took place in history prior to colonialism, and here I'm going to actually look at one man by the name King Leopold of Belgium, King Leopold II of Belgium. This man, when he was having his interest in the Congo, actually used the priests, the missionaries who were in Congo, to spearhead his own selfish interest in the Congo. In fact, he wrote a letter to the missionaries in the Congo, and I want us to read this letter together with you here on the screen. Let's read it together with you. The letter goes, Reverends, fathers, and dear compatriots, the task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much intact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire, above all, Belgium interest. Above all, Belgium interest. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. They speak and submit to a Mungu, one in Zambi, one in Zakomba. And what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad. So, have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be the best to protect your interest in the part or in that part of the world. So for these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground. So Leopold continues to say that your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty, like that verse which says, Happy are the poor because they will inherit the heaven. And it's difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of God. And the letter actually continues. It's a very long letter. I may not just exhaust the details of that letter here, but at the end of this video, I'm going to share a link to a complete copy of this letter. Now, you know very well that this man, King Leopold, is the one who later in history came to be recorded as the man who killed the highest number of people in the world. In fact, he killed more than 13 million people, 13 million Africans in the Congo. Now, from this letter, there are some few things that stand out. One is when he says to the Reverend Fathers that their role is not to go to the Congo to evangelize them. It's not to go there to teach them about God. In fact, Leopold is acknowledging that even before the missionaries came, the Africans already knew about God. You can hear saying that they speak and submit to a Mungu, one in Zambi, one in Zakomba, and what else I don't know. In fact, he's saying that they knew, there were a number of principles that the Africans knew. They knew that to kill to sleep with someone else's wife, and to insult, all those things are bad. He knew. So, this proves to you that Africans, even before the missionaries came, Africans were very clean spiritually. They were the most spiritual people. Another thing that stands out here is the issue of their role. It's telling them that their essential role now is to facilitate the task of the administrators. In fact, they are ordered, they were instructed to make sure that they interpret the gospel in a manner that will favor their interests. You see, that you go there to interpret the gospel in the way it will be the best to protect your interest in the part of the world. And it's telling them that their knowledge of the gospel. So they were going to pick some text in the Bible which actually promote and give glory to poverty. So what essentially comes out here is that these people who were sent by King Leopold are basically the people who have been referred in the Bible as the false teachers and the false prophets who are to come at the end times. So that's another thing that stands out. Now, up to this point, remember, these same people we are talking about, the Reverend Fathers who were sent by King Leopold, those who were sent by the Papal Bulls, majorly form the better part of the list of the people who have been canonized by the Catholic Church to be saints. Because you know that the people who have been canonized by the Catholic Church to be saints are majorly those who were sent, the missionaries, like the missionaries who were killed in Uganda, whom they call the 22 martyrs of Uganda, and many others who were basically priests and men of religion. But you have seen how these men came, what they did. Do you think these people did the right thing? Do you think coming to discover us and to put us into slavery and to come and misguide us to dislike our richness that was underground, do you think these people meant good for us? I think not. Now, having talked about that one and having asked that question, I want us to go back again to look at something else. Now, the second question. The second question is about if we should canonize the Africans, the African warriors, to become saints. This actually is a very moral question. It's a moral question because having looked at how King Leopold confessed that the Africans actually knew about God, they were practicing good deeds before these people came, it again now draws my attention to another small aspect in history, or small topic in history. I want to look at, and when I talk about that one, someone comes into my mind. I know we have so many African freedom fighters who fought. We had the Mau Mau in Kenya, we had the Frelimo in Mozambique, and many others. But one man from South Africa comes into my mind. And this man goes by the name Solomon Mahalangu. I hope you might have heard about this man. So Solomon Mahalangu is a person from South Africa who actually fought during the apartheid regime. And this man was actually hanged because he led the Umukutu Wesizwe, what we call the spear of the nation. He was leading in the field to fight against apartheid. And when this Solomon Mahalangu was finally taken to court to be sentenced, he was of course convicted of murder and he was now sentenced to death. And this man was given a chance to give his final words. Having fought for the freedom and having been a very gallant soldier, a very bold soldier, he was not even fearing. And during his sentencing, when his judgment was being read, And as he was giving the final words, there are some words that catch my attention, which I also want us to look at together. In fact, I'm going to quote it. He says that in my final hour, I say this: my blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom. Tell my people that I love them. Now, you have listened to this. He says that in my final hour, I say this: my blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom. Tell my people that I love them. I ask you, which other greatest love could a person over to humanity than shedding life, blood for those people, for those people's lives? We know that throughout the history, according to Western religion, it was only one man who shed blood for the cause of salvation of humanity, and that was Jesus Christ. But here, again, we are getting the second person who is admitting to shed his blood to nourish the tree of freedom. Which freedom? The freedom that was first deprived from us by the people who claim that they came to evangelize us, but they came to bring salvation to us. So, in that essence, Solomon Malangu automatically and definitely qualifies to be a saint. That's not questionable. In fact, it has a moral basis that this kind of a person needs to be canonized and become a saint because, one, he has fought a good fight to fight the false prophets, the false teachers who have been warned to us by the Bible. Secondly, he has sacrificed his own life so as to see the people of Africa gain what we call self-dignity, to gain freedom. So this man was killed like that. He has gone down to books of history for the Africans, but nobody recognizes his sacrifices for him to bring what we call dignity to humanity. So that's what I base on when I ask the question, should we canonize the African freedom fighters to be saints? And it's not only Solomon. I've already said that one. It's not only Solomon. There are so many others. We even have the likes of Dedan Kimathi of the Mau Mau, who was buried alive in the course of fighting for freedom. All these people, they are supposed to be canonized. And that's my stand, that's my opinion. I know I've made a very long video. Maybe I might have gotten you tired, bored for this long video. But at this point, I'm going to end my video, and now I don't know what's your opinion, you as the viewer. And if you have an opinion, we are here to learn and to make each other see reasons as to why we are having a certain different idea. So if you have an opinion, you are free to bring in your opinion to this video in the comment section, and when I come back to this page, I'll read your comment. We shall interact and see the areas where we can learn from each other. Thank you very much, and continue coming back to this channel, and kindly subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share.